it. So we're again pushing it out. We're going to have it in March. It is the way it is. So Brother Duarte said that it's important to know. Truth is important to know. It's important to know who did what and what they did. And I agree 100%. Our memory verse is really about not putting confidence in the flesh.
Yes.
And a lot has happened in history. I'm not a real big partaker of some of our history books just because I know the history ain't right, or all the truth is not there. And it took a history teacher to actually tell me that, I kind of tell you what they want you to know. That's just the way history is. Right. But the Bible, on the other hand, tells you what you need to know. Hallelujah. And it is complete in the story. And because of that, I tend to lean towards this, that it really doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. It really doesn't. And I hope in this little short time you'll get a glimpse of why it's not important. Okay? It's true that I want to know about the history of African Americans. I do. Because I'm African American. So I want to know about the history, right? But it is also true that it's worthless to me.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on, Chuck. Now see that.
That's right, amen. Sure is. That's right.
Right?
You ain't gonna get me into heaven.
It's true that I want to know. But it's also true that I understand it's worthless.
That's right, amen.
Because my history or any other ethnic history ain't nothing. It doesn't matter what your color is.
That's right.
Say
It doesn't matter what they say about the history. If you get locked into the history of your ethnic group, let me be the first to tell you there's going to be limitations.
That's right. Hallelujah.
There's going to be limitations. If you get locked in to your ethnicity, you're not going to treat people the way God intends for you to treat them.
That's right.
Now, I'm only talking to those who call themselves children of God.
Hey, hallelujah.
See, if you're not a child of God, then this might not apply to you. But if you are a child, if you say, I believe that Jesus is the Son of God, I believe that He rose on the third day, I believe that He came for the sins of the world, I believe that He rose and He's in heaven on the right hand side of the Father with all power in His hand. I believe that He is the creator of the universe. My Bible tells me that a rebirth takes place on the inside of me.
Oh, hallelujah.
What you see on the outside, the natural man is not the real man. You only going to know who I am by the way that I act. If I'm walking in love, then you'll recognize that I am a true child of God. If my moral ethics are right, you'll know that I'm a true son of God. If I love you regardless of your color or your race, you'll know that I am a son of God. Can I just take a minute here? Jesus, while in Rome, was oppressed. Did you hear me? While in Rome, as a Rome citizen, he was oppressed. He was not a free man.
That's right.
But he didn't allow his ethnicity to get in the way of who he came to save.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Look, I have more going for me now than I ever had before. Again, it's good to know that they told a lie. I'm all for that. I want to expose the lie. But while I'm exposing the lie, I want to shed some light on the truth. I want you to know that there's a truth that goes beyond the history books. There is a truth that came from heaven way. The truth in the history books can't set me free.
That's right. Hallelujah.
Can't set me free. You make me get a little excited. You make me get puffed up. You make me get mad at somebody. Y'all lied to me. I'm mad at you. You ain't fair.
Come on now.
We be looking for justice, don't we? We want some fairness in this thing. Y'all done done us wrong. Y'all done beat us. Y'all done put us down. Y'all done touched up. Y'all done shut doors. I want some justice.
Hold on. They don't want to hear that one back. Hold on.
But I'm learning.
It'll make you free.
I've been reading about Gandhi and Martin Luther King, and I'm coming into an understanding, comparing it to the Bible, that there's a justice that we don't actually operate in. Justice is not about my vindication.
That's right.
It's not about an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's not about trying to make you pay for something you've done to me.
Right. Hallelujah.
Come on.
Because if that was the case, and God is a just God, He is a just God. He sent His Son to a world that rejected Him.
Yes.
He sent His Son to a world that had already been disobedient.
That's right. Hallelujah.
But God says, I'm a just God. Think about this just for a minute. How many of us would be condemned to hell right now if it were not for Jesus?
Oh Lord, me.
Huh? Do you know why that's true? Because God is a just God.
Yes, He is.
God said, instead of vindication, instead of taking your life, I want to give you life.
Yes.
Instead of breaking up a relationship, I want to create a relationship. Instead of hating you, I want to love on you. That's justice.
That's justice.
Justice is about creating relationships and making reconciliation. It's not about vindication. It's not about pounding on the table saying you owe me this.
That's right.
It's about saying, guess what? You wronged me, but I want to love you.
In return.
Is that what Martin was trying to get us to understand? You can spit on me, send your dogs on me, throw rocks at me, but I'm going to love you.
Yes. Yes.
Where did he learn it from? He talked to Gandhi. Gandhi fell in love with Jesus. Oh, y'all didn't know that. Gandhi started loving what Jesus was about. He said Jesus knew something about justice. Jesus knows what it is to be just. He knows what it is to love. Oh, they spent some time together.
Yes.
Howard Thurman spent some time with Gandhi to understand what is it to walk in justice. What is it to walk in love? Let me tell you something. You can't do this thing if you ain't born again.
That's right. Hallelujah.
You can't love nobody who's been spitting in your face, cracking you upside your head, taking your stuff, if you ain't got the living God on the inside of you.
Come on now.
You gotta have some power, some supernatural power.
Yeah.
You need a love that is not of this world.
That's right. Hallelujah.
You need some agape. You need some God to be able to love somebody that hates you. Do you realize that every war emanated out of hatred? I know sometimes we say, no, we just defended our land and this, that, and the other, but it's just a cover for hatred. I don't like you, and I want what you got.
Right. Yeah.
And in the name of war,
Come on.
because you ain't right, I can take it. But justice says that I would not war against you. I would walk with you. I would love you. Huh? See, the history is good. Ooh, but God is better.
Yes. Thank you.
Come on.
So much better. Jesus is better. Listen to this. Listen to this. I just learned this. The slaves were told that they were slaves. I guess you didn't really have to tell them, huh? But they was told, constantly given the word, you are a slave, to keep you in a certain position.
Come on.
But there was some black African ministers that knew something about God.
Yes, they did.
Come on now.
And they weren't allowed to minister to the Africans, so they would have the masters minister to them, to tell them that you're a slave, obey your master. But there was some black Negro ministers that knew something about God. And when they ministered, they said, you are children of God. You're not a slave. Huh? They didn't tell them to get mad. They didn't say get mad at the master. They said, you are a child of God.
Child of God.
It raised them up. They were taught, they're not great and you're not great. You're only great in perspective to what you do, not who you are. You're a great basketball player. I'm a great writer. We on equal footing. We both great, baby. There is no greaters. God is the great.
Yes, he is.
I am.
Yeah.
Huh? Compare yourself to him if you want to. Oh, hallelujah. So when I think about Apostle Paul and just that little bit of text, that he places no confidence in the flesh,
That's right.
and that we should not.
Yes.
And he said, check this out. He said, we are the circumcision. We are the ones who are circumcised.
Yes.
Huh? See, we can get into a conflict with the Jews. And the Jews say, well, we the true Jews. Huh? And they taking it from the Bible, ain't they? But maybe a little out of context and out of the wrong time frame.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
They didn't realize that at this point, that's true. But at this point, it's not true.
Yes, Jesus.
Huh? See, we get hung up. We get hung up in our color. That's why our churches are divided.
That's why.
Huh?
Come on.
Yeah, we should have divided churches because of color. Nothing different, just color.
That's right.
But Apostle Paul understood this thing. And Jesus said, I came to tear down the middle wall of partition. Huh? So that Jew and Gentile could come together. Is that what he said? Huh? And so God had some intention. Oh, there's your word. Some intention behind what he was doing. He didn't call them to be the people just to be his people. He called them to be the people to bring in some more people.
That's right. That's right.
He didn't call us the ecclesia. He didn't call us to be the church just to huddle up in here and say we the church. He called us to be the church to make the church bigger.
That's right.
And he didn't call us to make it just all black or all white or all Hispanic,
Everybody.
all Japanese. Oh, I serve a God
Yes.
that's multicolored.
Yes.
He looked at me and he said, baby, you on equal footing. I got you as my son. I don't discriminate against you. You see my Asian brothers.
Yes.
That's your brother.
That's right.
I don't discriminate between y'all two. I will both of y'all's butt. Get out the way now. Get disobedient. See what I do to you. Huh? That's the God that we serve. You know what I'm saying? That's the God that we serve. And so when I step into this thing, I realize that my color don't make me.
That's right.
My color brings no value to me.
That's right.
It gives me no power. And it certainly don't liberate me.
Right.
Emancipation Proclamation, I don't know if it worked or not. As I look across the landscape, I don't know if it worked or not. But what I do know worked is that when Jesus emancipated me, he brought me up out of sin and death.
Yes, it is.
I'm free. Do y'all hear me? I'm free. Does the word say who the Son has set free? Come on, I'm free. Somebody was saying that I'm not bound to drugs. I'm not bound to pornography. There are some people, highly educated, been to college, got doctorate degrees, been to school for many years, making all kind of money, living in nice, wonderful houses, big fancy cars, and they're hooked.
Oh, hallelujah.
They either bound to money, bound to pornography, bound to drugs, bound to lifestyle. They ain't free.
That's right. Hallelujah.
Huh? Got money in the bank
Come on.
and a nervous wreck. Got no peace. Can I just, and we talk about this all the time. My little college degree didn't give me no job.
Hallelujah.
My God got me my
That's
job.
right. That's right.
The positions that I have held is because of God, not because of my degree. God opened the door. God gave me the favor. Oh, hallelujah. Huh? I can't preach the word because I studied and went to seminary and got a degree and all of that. I can preach the word because the power of God is on the inside of me. He's moving. He's using this vessel.
That's right.
Oh, hallelujah. I got something better than my blackness. Hallelujah. I got something you can't even see. What I got ain't got no color. When's the last time you seen spirit with color? I think God knew what he was doing when he didn't leave a picture of Jesus. He knew what he was doing. He said, y'all gonna lose y'all's mind. I ain't leaving no picture. Y'all know what he looked like. Y'all know. Get all messed up. Jesus said, I don't need no picture of me.
Right.
All they need to know is how I operate. Love ain't got no color, do it?
No, it don't.
If I love you, it ain't got no color, do it?
No.
Feel good, don't it? But it ain't got no color. Think about this just for a minute. I said this, I don't know if I said this at Jazz's thing or not, but the last stat says that 70% of the United States are Christians. It's the last stat that I know of. 70%, close to 70% anyway, Christians. I thought about that. You know, just doing some basic math. I said, that's 7 out of 10. Come on.
That's right.
Hallelujah. So on the job, 7 out of 10 of us are Christians. Supposedly, yeah. What if I'm walking in holiness? What if I'm walking in that thing? That means I'm walking in love. What if I'm walking in that?
Yes.
How much different would the workplace be? For all of the politicians that say that they're Christians, regardless of what their color and race is,
Right.
if they operated in the principles of God, how much different would the country be? Huh? See, they got all the education,
Right.
don't they?
Right.
They got all the education, all of the knowledge, I guess they say, but they're making a mess of things. But I believe that if we just walk like Jesus.
Yes.
See, we were talking about this Sunday, wasn't we? Saturday. Think about this just for a minute, and then I'm going to be done. We're going to have communion. Think about this for just for a minute. Jesus is in Rome, where oppression is reigning, where the Roman government is reigning over everything. And he says this, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. He don't fuss about it. Just give what you want.
Yeah.
Then think about this. In the same oppression of heat, he said, turn the other cheek.
Come on.
See, we don't think about Jesus being in the stuff.
No.
But he was walking in the stuff while he was saying, turn the other cheek. He was walking in the stuff when he said, love thy enemy. He was walking in the stuff when he said, pray for those who would spitefully misuse you. You know what got Gandhi so excited about Jesus? He read about the Sermon on the Mount. And he said, this Jesus, he got it. This Jesus, he got it. We are supposed to walk like that. Again, to understand what black folk did is a beautiful thing. To understand what happened to them is a beautiful thing. You know why it's beautiful? Because I can minister to it. It's hard sometimes to minister to a person if you don't know what they've been through. But if you know what they've been through and you've experienced some of what they've been through, you can minister to it. Now let me give you an example real quick. So I've been pulled over by the police before. You know, in my little fancy hot rod car, all popped up in the back. I'm getting ready to get on the freeway, got my glass pipes on it, you know, and it's making all kind of noise and got big wheels on it, you know, and the police pulls me over. And he makes me spread eagles and he put a gun to me and everything. And then he simply asked me for my license.
Okay.
Broad daylight.
All right.
And you know what his comment was afterwards? He said, oh, you look like you had a fast car and I thought you was going to try to outrun me. See, that's an experience, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But do I hate all police officers? No, I do not.
No.
Do I have a problem? No, I do not. Because I realize that I got something in me they need. And they can't get it if I hate them. They can't get it if I'm mad at them.
Right.
They got to get it with the love of God.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
They got to get the love of God.
Yes.
See, and check this out, man, I'm really done. Check this out. Because of this walk with Jesus, because that he's caused a rebirth in me, he said this, in the midst of oppression, in the midst of all that was going on in the region, he said, don't be worried about the man that can take your physical life.
That's right.
Be worried about the one that can take your soul.
That's right.
Here's another point to know whether or not you're walking in love or not. If you're in a place where you're trying to protect yourself,